Right, hello and welcome to Let's Look at the glorious new Xbox update for F1 2019 that now features keyboard support. I've seen people on Reddit and Twitter question it, so you yourself may be questioning why would you want to drive your car with a keyboard. Well, that is not exactly what the update is best optimized for. What it allows you to do is use a keyboard, a USB keyboard, or your Chatpad, or both at the same time. So the Chatpad attachment for the Xbox also works as a keyboard for these kind of features in games. So for this or Project Cars 2, as far as racing games go, you could use your Chatpad for extra buttons as a button box. It will allow you to do MFD shortcuts for fuel mix, brake bias, differential, and ARS, so you can quickly go up and down them with a single press of a button, rather than having to go through a menu and then press left, right whenever you reach your desired selection. So now with a single button press, you could increase fuel mix, any of these, or decrease them as needed, which is fantastic for quickly changing tactics during a race. If you need to conserve ERS, if you need to bump ERS and fuel mix up, if you're in a battle and you want to pull away from someone or overtake someone in a specific lap so you can pull ahead, just all that tactical stuff is a lot easier to access, and it really allows you to think more about what you're doing on the track and not look at the bottom of the screen and have to worry about hitting the right selection for left, right, and up, down to get to to change what you need to change, if you need to change your brake bias mid-race or that kind of thing. So now it can all be done with a single button press. The other pro to all this is that it allows me, on my Xbox Elite controller at least, to completely unassign the MFD controls from the controller, and now assign fuel mix and ERS to the D-pad, which is also what the paddles on the back of my Elite controller are assigned to. So now I can quickly change fuel mix and ERS mid-corner without having to worry about anything and move on from there. So I can, if I've overtaken someone and I need to quickly change my fuel mix down if I'm burning too much fuel, I can do that straight after the overtake while I'm still steering in to either defend or turning through the apex, that kind of thing. It can all be done easily without having to worry about taking my thumb off the left stick for steering, or moving my right hand over and maybe negatively affecting my acceleration or that kind of thing if I was trying to claw my right thumb over all the way to the D-pad. So if you don't have an Elite controller, you might be safer changing your D-pad settings to brake bias and differential, just because you're likely to you're most likely to be using your D-pad with the left thumb. So if you do use your D-pad most often with the left thumb, you'd be safer having brake bias and differential. Probably having them as your D-pad settings if you're using a keyboard too, just because you can do that on a straight without having to worry about steering too much, and quickly change them with your D-pad and your left thumb. So let's quickly get out on the track and have a look-see. I can quickly change the brake bias here while going through, and also decrease the differential while going down the pit lane. And while coming out, quickly go up and down using the paddles for the ERS deployment and fuel mix. So while going through the corner I can change it, and now instead of taking maybe several button presses, it can all be done in one single button press of going up or down, which is fantastic. It really adds to what the game needs, what sim racing really needs if you want to optimize your time, your tactics, your just general racing. Button boxes are the way to go, and using your keyboard as a button box in a console is a fantastic addition, and hopefully the PS4 version also gets similar support, and if not, maybe the next games on the next gen consoles, hopefully the consoles have this kind of thing built in pretty easily, so that most games in the future will have support for this kind of thing. Alright, let's knock down ERS while we're going through here. So I mess that up a bit. It'll take a while. It'll take a while to get used to such quick deployment because for the last long while, whenever I've been using a hand controller and F1 on the Xbox, I would always leave even fuel mix changing to along straight, just because it was so much easier and less to worry about. So still got to get my brain used to being able to change it and not have it affect my steering. But you know, once the muscle memory gets down, then it'll be very easy to sort of change that up while braking. Be a very slow time, but still, have I got my... Oh, I've got it up to... Make sure I've got it up to rich now, at least, if I didn't have it up before. What are we doing with moving my brake bias back a bit? There we go. See, still got to get used to that one. I had to lift my hand off and go to the actual keyboard, so, you know, just got to use the steering. That's the issues you have to overcome, so... If it feels too difficult for you, you know, you're not missing out on too much. You're probably enjoying the game as is, but it's just that extra addition. And once you can get used to it and get used to the lifting your hand off and going to a specific part of the keyboard if you've got it set up properly, and quickly changing that, you know, it'll become a second nature eventually. And then you know you'll really open up for how much time you can save and how well you can optimize your fuel and your energy output and that kind of thing. There we go, 128. Quite slow to start off with, but there it is.
You've just put in the quickest lap of the session so far.
Take that down. And there we go. That is the button box feature now, featuring the keyboard on the new update for F1. It's really great. I'm really happy to see it added, and hopefully a lot more games in the future get this kind of treatment, because it's what console is really missing. Radio, have a good day. Bye bye.